All right, guys, we are here. Your commish has made it to the Week 9 matchup previews. Before I get into it, just want to quick shout out to Tony Sr. I hope you're feeling better. I'm fresh off my bout with COVID. Thankfully, did not last that long for me. I got 2 negative tests today. So I'm very fortunate to have not had this hit me as hard as it's hit Tony Sr. I hope that, we're all hoping for a swift recovery. And, there's that. So that being said, on to the matchup previews here. Dude Wears Lamar versus Black Tuna. So myself versus John. John is in shambles. His team's awful. Really has nothing at running back. I mean, LaMichael Pirine, who's in a timeshare with the Jets playing against New England. Yuck. But it's his only playable running back. And then he has Zeke Elliott at home against Pitt. And to boot, he has a hammy issue. Jesus, man. I don't know what John's going to do. I don't see a path to victory here. Neither does Yahoo. They have me a 73% favorite, which is just massive and overwhelming. I ought to get Michael Thomas back this week. Looks like Chris Godwin's good to go. Even if he's not, I can throw in Antonio Brown in that instance. I'm going to go on the bold prediction side of things here. I'm going to say AB puts up 70 yards and a score in his first game as a Buck. That's my bold prediction. I'm going to win this matchup. Obviously, this is not going to be much of a challenge. So we got Princess the Cat versus Chance the Dog. So the aforementioned Tony Sr. And, of course, kind of scuzzy of Tony to go out and make a trade to try and screw over his father, who's sick in the hospital right now. No mercy in fantasy football, I guess. Senior is kind of in trouble this week. Not great matchups. Could certainly use some running back help if there's anybody out there that wants to help out Senior. I do like Aaron Rodgers against San Fran. I think with Aaron Jones still banged up and no Jamal Williams and no A.J. Dillon, they're just going to throw the ball a ton. I also really like Robbie Anderson. Of course, Travis Kelce is a mega huge advantage. And Terry McLaurin, great matchup against the Giants. I expect him to smash that. On Junior's side of things, he has Adams to cancel out Rodgers a little bit. Of course, Russell Wilson, not the greatest matchup at Buffalo, but it's Russell Wilson. But keep an eye on inclement weather there. There could be some snow, could be pretty shitty outside, and that could limit Russell Wilson this week. James Conner at Dallas is a smash running back. He ought to be fantastic. David Johnson, he's David Johnson. He kind of sucks. So we got to figure out what we're going to do with Senior's running back situation. Bold prediction here. We're going to say the highest scoring player in this matchup is going to be Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson in catch-up mode against the Chiefs is going to crush it. So I got, that being said, going to have to give the win to Princess the Cat, getting back in the winning ways here. Now, we've got old laptop thief versus your deepest fantasy. So, man, two teams that are circling the drain here. Justin and Reese, a tale of two different paths to failure. Reese's path was really due to bad luck. Reese just had bad luck. Justin's side of things, there was a window for Justin to build the championship team, and it came right after that 178-point game. I keep talking about this, but hopefully this is a learning experience for Justin, and he actually learns how to play fantasy football. We have a bunch of guys that just put up the best game they've ever played in their career, and they have a multi-year track record of not being that good. Move off of some of them for maximum value. I don't understand why some of these guys are still on your roster. So, it really just hasn't panned out in Justin's favor. Now, on Reese's side of things, I really love Chase Edmonds at home against the Dolphins. I think CEH is going to have a bounce back as well. Bold prediction here. Chase Claypool has 2 touchdowns against Dallas en route to Reese getting the W. Sorry, Justin. Your team's just not very good. Even with Tom Brady. Mike Evans is borderline droppable, by the way, with Godwin and Brown coming back. Now, he'll probably still get, 6 yards and a score, but, he's fine if he had tight end eligibility, but he doesn't. So we got probably the matchup of the week here is Jason Exotic versus Weasel Claus. Little Weasel Claus, you little weasel. Jared, who was sending the sick in the hospital, Tony Sr., weasel trade offers trying to screw him over like an asshole. Like, unbelievable, Jared. What are you doing? So let's the fantasy gods do not look kindly on that. So I'm just going to kick this off with the bold prediction here. Christian McCaffrey does not finish the game against the Chiefs. He's going to get re-injured because Jared has pissed off the fantasy gods. So furthermore, look out for Pat Mahomes because he might take a few hits this week after running up the score last week. The fantasy gods don't like that either. So on Jason's side of things, Ben Roethlisberger at Dallas, great matchup. In fact, Jason has great matchups up and down the ledger here, except for Derrick Henry against Chicago. And nobody cares who Derrick Henry's playing. Derrick Henry's going to smash. Doesn't matter who he's playing against. So already gave you my bold prediction. McCaffrey gets injured. Let's go with a point total bold prediction. I think Rob Gronkowski will be the tight end 1 on the week. I think the Saints are going to be focused on stopping Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and it's going to make Gronk unstoppable in the red zone. So 2, maybe 3 touchdowns for Gronk. Not a ton of yardage, but he's going to have a big week. Brady's going to have a big week too, but the rest of Justin's team's so bad it doesn't matter. So I'm going to give the win here to Jason. Jason Exotic gets the W. Now, Cobra Kyler versus Cheat Code. Joe versus Steve in a grudge match for the ages. Great battle here. It's going to be a great matchup between 2 god-awful teams, 2 horrible fantasy managers. Kyler Murray, definitely got to give him the nod over Josh Allen, even with Allen playing against Seattle. Kyler Murray has been absolutely electric this year, really come on in his last 2 games with 54 fantasy points over his last 2 games. My God, that is killing it. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's not right. 64 fantasy points over his last 2 games, averaging 32 a game. My God, man, that is nuts. Love the Marvin Jones at Minnesota. Amari Cooper's droppable. Can't play him against Pitt, Joe. You got to go find. There's better wideouts on the waiver wire, and I'm not kidding at all. Amari Cooper is not a playable wideout for the rest of the season. In fact, if you're starting anybody from the Cowboys offense, you're doing it wrong. Don't just flat out cut him, I guess. But, you can't start him. You need to go find somebody else. This is just – it's embarrassing. It's terrible. This guy's carrying two freaking defenses, and he's rolling out Amari Cooper with no backup option. Jesus Christ. Who's their quarterback? Cooper Rush? Garrett Gilbert? Come on, dude. Melvin Gordon going to get his suspension at some point. Might be this week. If it's not, I expect him to do just fine against Atlanta, even though Phillip Lindsay looks like he's taken over that backfield. Aaron Jones, don't know if he's going to play. We still don't know. I have had that calf strain that Aaron Jones has, And I can tell you it is extremely easy to re-injure it. I was dealing with it for about 6 months before I was finally through with it. I re-injured it a couple times just going for a jog. So I can't imagine trying to play running back on a calf strain, even just 2 or 3 weeks after. I'm calling bullshit. I think Aaron Jones is a waste for the rest of the season. Joe really should have capitalized on his value a few weeks back. J.K. Dobbins looks like he's breaking out. Tough matchup against the Colts. Don't give a shit. Still think he does well. And of course, Joe has a dream matchup on defense with New England at the Jets. Steve is an absolute moron. You cannot play the Dolphins at Arizona. That is horrendous. That is just horrendously bad. How Steve hasn't tried to package a couple of these running backs to go get an actual good one, I don't know. I guess it's because Steve isn't willing to trade Todd fucking Gurley or David Montgomery. Look, package Montgomery and Gurley or just one of them with, Freeman and Zach Moss and try to go get a decent running back, you dummy. Steve has nothing that really scares you. I mean, Metcalf is really good for a wide receiver, but he's still just a wide receiver. So, I mean, that's going to make him a little more prone to boom bust than a top tier running back would be. I think DK is about as good as it gets at fantasy wideout, though. Nuke Hopkins, not really been that great. I mean, he hasn't hit 20 points in a game yet. I don't know if you guys know that. Despite having some really easy matchups, we're talking Seattle, Dallas, the Jets, Detroit, Washington, Carolina, and this guy still hasn't hit 20 points. So Nuke is a guy that Steve probably should have capitalized on the big name and traded him when he had the chance as well. So bold prediction in this game, the Miami defense goes negative against Arizona. It's a stupid play. I also think Gurley finishes with less than 6 fantasy points. So we're going to throw that out there too. So all that being said, I still think Steve gets the W here. His wideouts are just too much better than Joe's. Amari Cooper, Jesus Christ, Joe, you can't do it. I'm begging you, don't do it. You're looking at you're begging for 2 or 3 points. That's what you're asking for. The Cowboys are going to be 3 and out every drive. The Steelers, I've never been more certain that a defense was going to dominate an offense than the Steelers versus the Cowboys. That is the premier defensive play of the season this year. I'm expecting the Steelers D to just absolutely crush them. So I got to give the win to Steve. Cheat code gets this W. And there is your matchup previews. Best of luck to everybody and hope to see Tony Sr. back here soon.